Today, we're diving into Khaled Hosseini's absolutely unforgettable novel, A Thousand Splendid Suns. It's this powerful, heart-wrenching story about two Afghan women born a generation apart whose lives get completely tangled up by war, loss, and, ultimately, this incredible, unbreakable bond. So, where does that title even come from? Well, it's from this gorgeous 17th century poem about the city of Kabul. And these lines, they really get to the heart of what this book is all about. The idea that even when a city is scarred by war, behind all those walls, there's hidden beauty, there's resilience. It's that hidden strength, those thousand splendid suns, that our characters are going to have to find in themselves just to survive. At its absolute core, this is a story about a relationship. We're going to follow two women whose totally separate struggles end up merging into one shared journey of survival, all playing out against the chaotic backdrop of 30 years of Afghan history. Okay, so let's meet our two protagonists, Mariam and Laila. And their starting points in life, they could not be more different. I mean, Mariam's entire life is defined by the shame of her birth, while Laila's starts out full of promise and opportunity. But, as we're about to see, war and fate, well, they have a way of just erasing those lines. All right, first up, let's talk about Mariam. Her whole existence, from the moment she's born, is shaped by a single cruel word, a label that's going to follow her everywhere. And that word is harami. Now, it literally translates to an illegitimate child, but trust me, the weight of it is so much heavier. It's like being called a weed. In the eyes of society, she was a nobody, a person of no consequence. This brand of shame is the foundation of who Mariam is, and it teaches her from day one that she's not worthy of love or happiness. So Mariam grows up in this tiny, isolated hut with her mother, who is just so full of bitterness about her life. Her only real connection to the outside world is her father, Jalil, who visits her once a week. She completely idolizes him. But on her 15th birthday, when she goes to his house to find him, he betrays her. He won't even let her in the door. And that one act of rejection leads directly to her mother's suicide. And just like that, Mariam's world completely shatters. In the chaos that follows, Jalil's wives just want to get rid of her, so they quickly arrange a marriage. She's ripped from her small village, sent to the big city of Kabul, and handed over to Rashid, a man almost 30 years older than her. Her lonely childhood is over, only to be replaced by a miserable and oppressive marriage. Okay, so now let's switch gears and meet our second protagonist, Laila. She's born in the very same city where Mariam is now stuck, but her experience of Kabul is like a different universe. I mean, the contrast is just night and day. While Mariam was kept illiterate and isolated, Laila grows up in a modern home where her father, a teacher, is adamant about her getting an education. He tells her she can be anything. Laila has friends, she has dreams, and she has this deep, wonderful love for her best friend Tariq. But all that hope and promise can't build a wall high enough to keep the war out. When the Soviets leave, the warlords turn on each other, and Kabul descends into a horrific civil war. And then the unthinkable happens. A rocket destroys Laila's home, killing her parents. At almost the exact same time, Tariq's family flees the country, leaving Laila wounded, orphaned, and totally alone. And this is the moment. This is where their two separate worlds violently collide. Laila is pulled from the rubble of her home by none other than Mariam's husband, Rashid. He brings her into their house, and soon enough, a desperate and pregnant Laila becomes his second wife, forcing these two completely different women to live together under one very oppressive roof. You have to remember, all the personal drama happening in this one house is playing out against this backdrop of total national chaos. You've got the Soviet invasion, the bloody civil war, and then the rise of the Taliban. Every political shift changes the rules of survival, making life harder and more dangerous, especially for women. At first, their relationship is just awful. It's full of jealousy and suspicion. Mariam, who is older and couldn't have children, just sees this pretty young girl as a threat. But being forced to live under Rashid's cruelty, his temper, his abuse, it slowly starts to chip away at the walls between them. And a single, simple offer of a cup of chai becomes the very first step toward a secret, powerful alliance. And that alliance, it blossoms into a real family. Layla's daughter Aziza becomes the child that Mariam always dreamed of but could never have. Through Aziza and later Layla's son Zalmai, Mariam finally, for the first time, gets to feel the profound love of a mother. She's transformed from this quiet, bitter woman into a fierce, loving protector. This little family they've built becomes their lifeline. It gives them the strength to keep going. But as the world outside their door gets more and more dangerous, their bond is about to face its biggest test yet. So the question is, in a world that seems designed to destroy them, is this connection they forged strong enough to actually save them? The breaking point comes with a ghost from the past. Tariq, the man Laila thought was dead for years, somehow finds his way back to Kabul, and their reunion sets off a chain reaction that is going to end in tragedy and an incredible sacrifice. Well, when Rashid finds out that Tariq is back, he explodes. His jealousy and rage are uncontrollable. He brutally attacks Lala, strangling her, and he is fully intending to kill her. They had put up with his abuse for years, but this time is different. Seeing Lila's life slipping away, Mariam acts. In this one shocking moment of pure defiance, she picks up a shovel and she strikes Rashid, killing him. It's an act that saves Laila and her children, but Mariam knows it has sealed her own fate. She tells Laila to take the kids and run, to go find Tariq, sacrificing her own freedom so that they can have a future. As Mariam walks to her public execution by the Taliban, she thinks back on her life, and she realizes she is no longer the shameful harami, that unwanted weed. Because of her love for Laila and the children, she had finally become someone who mattered, a person of consequence. Her end is tragic, absolutely, but in her own heart, it isn't a defeat. So, when you boil it all down, A Thousand Splendid Suns is a story about the unbelievable resilience of the human heart. It shows us how, even when faced with the most brutal oppression imaginable, the bond between two women can create this defiant little sanctuary of love, a true testament to the power of solidarity. The novel really leaves us with this one powerful question. It suggests that hope isn't about the absence of darkness. It's about the defiant act of finding and protecting those hidden suns, those moments of love and friendship and sacrifice that shine the brightest when the walls around you are the highest.